Okay. Okay. I have a bit of notes, Leo and Anya, just to let you know when I'm here and reading a little bit, but mostly I do not need this. Yeah.
Okay.
If you have some sound in the background, you do not want to that we hear it, so just switch off the microphone. But I think it's okay. I'm happy if I can hear and see you. So I'm mostly working with people, let's say live in a present training. So for me, it's more familiar if I have contact. Sabina, hello. Hello. Oh, just a moment. Sabina, can you hear us? Or can you hear me? Hello. Hello. She is coming, but I cannot hear, I cannot see her. Okay. Sabina, hello. Let me check. Sabina, if you can hear me, you have to switch on the microphone and the camera. It's in the left corner, down, so we can hear or see you. Okay. Can you write something, Sabina? Maybe you can write. She's online, but no connection so far. Hello, hello. Let me. Okay. Hello. Anya is sending message. I hope Sabina can read or listen or maybe see, but I cannot see her. Okay, come on, let's start, huh? Others might come as well. So we will welcome them if they will enter the room. Okay, let's start, yeah? Okay, so we have more or less maybe 1 hour, and the idea of our session tonight, is to introduce you to these 4 essential, what I call 4 essential, as for personal development, personal growth, and what you already can see with the words essential, it's not, I can say it's not superficial stuff. Essential means we do not try to push you or trap you in some kind of strange methods or kind of strange ideas about life changing or life or personal development. It's an experience over more than 20, 30 years in my life. Yeah, so give me just a few minutes to introduce myself. I'm actually born in Germany. I'm grown up in Germany and in Munich especially, and I was living and working the last 10 years, you can say, also in Asia. So I was in Singapore, in Shanghai, many Asian countries, and I'm transformational coach and trainer. Also in the area of business, that's one part. I was training many, many business people. And also psychologically, I'm a psychotherapist, constellation therapist, systemic therapist, and coach. So I'm quite experienced also with, someone else is coming, okay. Quite experienced also with psychological processes. So all in all, it's called what I call transformational coaching and training. Yeah? Sabina, hello. Can you hear me? Hi. We started already. I just said a few sentences to my person. And I'm, as a coach and trainer, working since 20 years now. And did more than 4,000 or 5,000 sessions and trainings the last years in different cultures. So I'm quite experienced, yeah, with the issues from personal development, organizational development, but also spiritual development. Sabina, where do you come from?
I'm from Moscow, but I live in Cyprus.
Ah, okay. Great. So we have 2 Cypriots and 1 Brazilian living in Portugal. Great. International.
Yes.
Yeah. So what is the idea of tonight? First of all, the introduction into these 4 essential, let's say, steps, topics of personal growth, and of course also to give you more space to ask questions if there are a question left. Yeah. It's a free webinar. That means we do not go in each topic very, very deeply. Why? Because we have to get to know each other. We have to find a bit of resonance, yeah, and see if it's interesting for you, helpful. But of course, if you have questions, do not hesitate to ask, and do not hesitate to give your own picture, own life situation, own questions to us, so that we can have a mostly good, a very good exchange. Yeah. Just let me know in 1 or 2 sentences, what is your request? Why are you participating? Do you have any request? You are sitting with us now. For example, Sabina.
Well, to be honest, I just came across the event from someone I know from Facebook, and because I'm a newly born coach, so I'm just starting basically. Like this year I started, so I'm interested in everything that I can get from experienced coaches to see the approach and just to hear people who are in this field for a long time and maybe get some.
Okay, great.
For my development.
What kind of coaching is it?
Well, it's something in between life and business coaching, because even if they come with business requests, and most of them do, it all goes down to their personal issues anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't really distinguish them too much, like life or business coaching. It's all about the person.
Yeah, great. Okay, thank you.
It's because I'm a brand manager in my previous life, so they mostly trust me in business issues because I'm well experienced in that. So maybe that's why.
Okay, thank you, Sabina. Leo, what about you? Do you have any question for the evening, or just get to know what we are doing?
I don't have any specific requests. I came across as well, and I took the opportunity to invest in this. But I live in myself in right now in a cycle of bad luck, and that was one of the titles that caught my attention. So it made me decide to participate.
Okay. May I ask you, what is it, bad luck? Do you have some ideas for us?
Mainly in business, mainly in I closed down. I broke down in Brazil. I had shut down my company, 2 of my companies, and moved to Portugal, and things are not going very well here, professional as well.
Okay.
So that's why I'm calling a cycle of bad luck.
Yeah. Okay.
And never happened to me before.
Okay. And Anya, what about you? We need your microphone.
I'm generally interested in topic. I would like to know 4 essentials, of course. So yeah, I'm just eager to know.
Okay, then let's have a look. I will just share my screen with you. So we have a picture. Not saying that you have to read now everything, but it's a bit the kind of concept what I would like to start with today, tonight, and also for next webinars if you are interested in. Yeah. So why you have trouble in life mostly, it doesn't matter if it's business or private. You're correct, Sabina. Everything goes to your person, to yourself. I'm focusing on 4 aspects. It's called, first aspect, it's called ego and self. We took the picture of driving the car, something like this. It's a nice picture to maybe also to explain what is it about. So in the first point, we are talking about ego and self, means who is driving the car. That means often the ego is driving the car, and the self sits on the back seat and has nothing to say anymore. So the question is, what is that? What is this ego and self thing? Yeah. So first we will talk about then we will go further to a more psychological aspect of how we drive the car. Okay, driving the car is a symbol, yeah, symbol for our life. So character processes. Character processes is a description of how we always reach the same or run into the same loops. So often in life, people experience that they have similar kind of experiences, new partner, new jobs, new countries they live for. There are some changes, but the main things are somehow remaining. Yeah. So often the feeling is we are hooked or we are trapped in some kind of loops. So this is this character process, this aspect of how do we drive our life. Yeah. The third aspect is the GPS of the soul, means where to go. So you drive the car, but you do not know where to go. Should you go to Portugal? Should you go to Brazil? Should you go to another country? Which direction should you choose? Yeah. So this GPS of the soul, meaning where to go, how to find out what is my trainer often says time and theme sensing. Time means what is the right moment for something, and for what is it the right moment. So a GPS is this kind of symbol, this kind of tool, what we have in the car, what brings us to the right place or to the right destiny. Do we have something like this as an inner kind of orientation, inner kind of antenna? And the last aspect is called spiritual mandate. It's the very deep question about what for you drive the car. The meaning is, why are you here? What is the point of being here on this planet? My experiences over the years, it's now more than 35, more 40 years of self-inquiry. This is often one of the main aspects. We do not know why we are here on this planet. What do we have to do? Is there any kind of meaning? I do not call it purpose. I call it meaning or mandate. That means a calling. Yeah, do we have such a thing? And if so, how to find out, and what are the consequences then? So more or less, if you are in trouble with something in your life, or if you coach people, yeah, you are confronted with these aspects. Of course, there are many systems, many ideas, many methods, and behind these topics, there are also many methods and ideas. But from my experience, these are the so-called essentials, yeah? The essential of how to end psychological suffering. This is in the center here. Okay, let's start. First point is ego and self. So what does it mean? Ego is mostly connected to psychological experiences. Let me go back to my okay, just a moment. Where is my picture now? Just a second. Where's this thing now? You can see me as full screen?
No.
No? Okay, yeah, now I see. I'm not so familiar with Zoom. Now you see me, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's start with ego and self. What's the point with this? Ego is mostly the psychological aspect, and the self is the spiritual aspect. when we talk about psychology, we talk and ego. Let's say ego, mostly about ego. We talk about mind and body. Often we are extremely connected to our mind because our world is somehow driven or expecting us to go into the mind, to have a lot of thoughts and ideas about who we are, how we have to live, and so on and so on. Psychological issues are mostly created by the split. We are not really ourselves. We create a kind of personality, yeah, what is not really connected to ourselves. Persona comes from Latin, means shining through. So even when we talk about personality, there is something what should shine through. The persona is the mask. Yeah. So in our life, often we develop something like a mask, not only literally in our, not only in real in our face or how we behave, also in how we feel. Yeah. So it's a persona, maybe this kind of ego quality, what is not really us. People often say, I have a problem with this and that, or this is my issue at the moment. And I'm asking, who is this I you're talking about? And sometimes it's not really clear. We talk mostly from this ego level. That means the question is, what is this ego? How does it develop? Nobody has seen an ego over the years, but still in psychology and all the kind of spiritual work, it's a very dominant topic. Yeah. So what is this ego actually? And you can say ego is actually nothing else than a survival mechanism, a protection mechanism. That means we learn in our life as a child, as a young soul coming to this planet, that we might be not accepted, might be not loved, might be not right, might feel different than Earth is, might be in a culture but is not our culture, and so on. So the feeling can be, oh my God, how can I survive here? Even very early traumas or very early injuries are confronting us with kind of survival mechanism. So the main thing what the ego is a kind of survival or protection mechanism. What does it mean? This development of this ego structure is a bodily development, is an emotional development, it's a mindset. For example, I can only survive if I'm a quiet person, or I can only survive if I'm a loud person, or I can only survive if I smile and say yes to everything. Yeah? So we develop relatively early kind of patterns. And these are patterns we have to respect and we have to appreciate also, because in a specific time in our life, it was a absolutely needed kind of action, reaction, response to the world. The problem is, often it creates a split between what? For example, split between thoughts and heart, thoughts and feelings, body and feelings, what I feel I am and what I think I have to be, for example. All these kinds of splits, yeah, are somehow the whole package of an ego. So psychologically and from an energetical point of view, it's, for example, what we talked later on, it's a character, so-called character process. Wilhelm Reich was parallel to Sigmund Freud and Carl Gustav Jung. He was working in the US, and he found out that all kind of psychological diseases, let's say, or problems are also in our bodies. Yeah. So we have a kind of body structure. Shoulders are going up, we hang back, we run forward, we are maybe twisted to the side, the legs are not really connected, and so on and so on. So this is somehow bodily, emotionally, from the mind and even spiritually, our ego quality. And the Buddhist says, okay, or many religion traditions say you have to kill the ego. My experience as a psychologist, it's not correct. So we have to appreciate this quality, otherwise we would not survive in the world. So if you go to the tax authorities and you give a tax declaration, This is not the self what is doing this. This is your ego. What brings you in the morning up and to the work and creates your day. It's mostly this ego quality. Yeah. So what is the trouble in this ego? After a while, this ego takes over the responsibility, meaning it is driving the car. It's not surfing the kind of higher perspective in life anymore. It becomes more and more egocentric, ego-selfish. We call it, Frankenstein, yeah, the Frankenstein ego, yeah, what takes over the charge. So after a while, we do not even recognize it, but we are always in this kind of ego state of, aha, how can I keep this ego quality alive? How can I perform? How can I survive in this world? So this egocentric and selfish quality becomes more and more important. The trouble is, after a while, we even have forgotten that there is a bigger self called self, a bigger unit, a bigger, let's say, higher self, what is actually us. So here it goes into the spiritual dimension, saying, who are you really? Are you this definition, yeah, Joachim Armbruster? Is it really that who you are? Or are you a much higher or much broader and much more developed kind of energy field of consciousness? So after a while, if you are more and more in coaching, training, developing, or you face trouble, always ask yourself, what is the ego part in this thing? Where was, let's say, my ego quality? Where was my pushing, my thoughts, my ideas about life, which brought me to this aspect? Yeah. So we have to think about, there was a split, a dissociation, what creates this problem, maybe. Yeah? If we are more and more connected with our self, our bigger self, we call the small self and the big self. If we are more and more connected with our inner self or higher self, they call, yeah, the ego is still there, but it's more supporting, it's more following what the higher self wants to do. So it serves, so the training from this ego quality is come from a selfish quality. I am right, I know what to do, yeah, I am the best, I have to run the show. From this quality to a service quality, listening to deeper kind of processes, deeper kind of feelings in yourself, to this higher self. What is actually the point, what you have to do here, and so on. So it starts to serve, not to be selfish only. By the way, egocentric is not only what we normally understand. We say, yeah, someone is showing off, yeah. This is an egocentric person, yeah, always me, yeah. But also an egocentric person might be who is always suffering. Yeah, someone who's always in a negative way in the center of everything. Yeah, people there have a bad life or they have a difficulty in life. Often you can see they also enjoy this suffering as a kind of ego style. Yeah, so it's not only this kind of what we know as egocentric, it's also the depression, all kind of psychological neurotic diseases are also ego-oriented things. The question is, why do we hold on? Yeah. For example, you can have a painful experience in your life, lost your sister or brother or maybe your mother or someone early. Yes, it's a painful experience, but why do we hold on? And even if in this pain, we are somehow, even if we are suffering, we are somehow ego-oriented. Yeah, something in us wants to have that kind of thing. So this is about ego and self. Let me go further immediately to these character processes, and then we might have a short break for your question, yeah? Because then you would understand much more what does it mean with this ego. So character process is something like what is developing as a neurotic process. The neurosis psychologically is a split. So when you were a child, as I described it, for example, yeah, maybe mother had no time for you in your life, or it was not enough money for food, or maybe even there was an early divorce or something like this, yeah. So we, as I mentioned before, we develop protection mechanism, survival mechanism. And you can describe 5 main survival mechanisms, what we observe mostly when we work with people. So for coaching, Sabina, it's very interesting to think about these 4, 5 character processes. Character means it's the description of an ego. Character means this is how we tried to survive when we were young and how we identify later with ourselves. Yeah. So when we say this is me, often we talk about this kind of quality, a kind of character. Yeah. A kind of quality, a mix of quality of behavior, what is somehow helping us, what makes us strong, but on the other side also gives us often the feeling of, I cannot really solve my issues on a deeper level. So we know somehow 5 main characters. Let me show you them a little bit. We do not go too deep now, time-wise, and also from the processes, but I would like to give you a few examples that you get a picture. Yeah. So first we start with schizoid. Do not be disturbed from the names. It's really classical psychology. Yeah. It's called schizoid process. Schizoid means splitted. This kind of character is often was very early disturbed during birth process or after birth process. The feeling is, I cannot trust in life. I have not a real basis. I have not a ground in life. Everything is, let's say, cut it off. Yeah, everything is disconnected. For example, many people in science, yeah, very head-oriented people, often schizoid people, like, I don't know, Einstein or all these kind of things, crazy, very good people, very famous thinkers. But the trouble is, often they are not really connected, not connected in the feelings, with the feelings, not connected to life, not connected to inner trust, not connected to the body. What is the result? If you ask them, I have a very good friend like this, and if I ask them, so what do you see as a change, for example, for yourself? Yeah, this and this and that. Aha, okay. And what is the difficult to do so? He says, yeah, but I do not know what is the outcome. So before I want to change something, I have to know exactly what is the outcome. So there's a lot of fear in the system. Yeah. Schizoid process has to learn to trust and to accept connection. So how can you be connected with your feelings? How can you be connected with your body? Yeah? One of the main basic problems we face, split. It's all over the world, by the way. Yeah? It's not only a psychological point. It's also an organizational point. It's also a point of spirituality. It's a cultural point. Yeah. More and more we're investing energy in splits. Yeah. All kind of splits. Second character is an oral character. Oral is often the feeling of dependency. People are mostly dependent on something. They feel, I cannot do it by myself. The feeling is, I'm not good enough. I do not get enough. Yeah, I always have to work hard for something. I feel no appreciation in my life, and so on and so on. So it's a highly feeling of being dependent. Why? The learning was very early. I do not get, for example, mother could not feed me or could not give me enough emotional warmth, yeah, or the environment was not really supporting me. So the feeling is, this world is not the right place for me. I do not get what I need. So what starts is dependency. I cannot do it by myself. I always need someone in relationship. Yeah, I have to be dependent, or I have to be in a business relationship. I'm good as a worker, but I can never be a boss because then I have to take all responsibilities. So the oral people are always hungry and needy. Yeah. There's another type of oral, what we call counter-dependent, saying, we do not need relationships. Yeah. So it's exactly the opposite. Actually, there's a very needy and hungry person behind who needs a lot, who wants to have a lot, who is not really satisfied, but even this is not accepted. So we do not need partners, we do not need money, we do not need good food and so on. So the counter dependency, exactly the opposite. Then we have masochistic qualities. There are people that are often body like this. They put a lot of things in. Yeah. The difficulty is they experience often guilt and shame. For example, mommy said, if you do not eat this food, I do not like you anymore, or something like this. Yeah. So it's always connected with rejection and feeling guilty and shame and all these things. So they take a lot of they take a lot of on their shoulders. Often this truck driver, yeah, they're good people, they have a good heart, but they cannot let go and they cannot say no. And they have extreme difficulty of surrender, of giving in, yeah. And in the bodies are extremely anger, a lot of angry people. When you work with, Sabina, when you work with people in coaching, yeah, and you have masochistic qualities, it's quite difficult to work with them because there's a lot of anger inside, yeah, what cannot be expressed. So the learning is to express feeling, yeah, and to take it easy, more easygoing. Life can be much more easy than they expected. So then we have another aspect. Soon we have a short break, then we can talk a bit. Then we have another aspect, is called psychopathic. Psychopathic, it's quite, sounds quite strange and quite scary. What is it? Psychopathic is a control freak. People who learned, they are often manipulated and abused in their life, as a child or as a young boy or young girl. So they learned, I have to control. In relationship, I have to control. In business, I have to control. Yeah. So it's a highly fear inside. If I cannot control, people will control me. People will manipulate, abuse me. Yeah. So often bosses, for example, have this kind of quality because they can really direct, they can really lead, they have a good standing for something. The problem is they are absolutely scared of losing control. And of course, once in a while in their lifetime, it happens. They lose control immediately, very, very fundamentally. Yeah? Wife is dying, or they lose the company, or they lose all money. Yeah. So the learning process is, oh wow, you are confronted with, no, you cannot control everything. So it's also about trust and accept others on an eye level, and also to surrender, to implement your heart, to give in also your heart feelings, and to accept that life has to be is more a flow. We say contra-role means against the movement. We say control, go more with the flow, accept more that you cannot control, that you do not have to control everything. Often very strong thinkers in the mind. So last but not least, we have one aspect, it's called rigid. And rigid people are often very much performance-oriented or drama-oriented. Yeah? So we have two different expressions. For example, if you were grown up as a child and performance was very important for you, so you get love instead of you show performance to get love, to get attention. This is the typically rigid quality. Another aspect is to create drama. So people mostly, let's say, more in the yin, in the female quality, are creating more drama. What is it? They didn't feel loved when they were young, so they have to do extra stuff, drama, the drama queen, or they have to perform extra. So, for example, many sports people, when they were young children or youngsters, teenager, when they were really pushed to sport. And yes, of course, they got attention a lot, yeah. And people gave applause, and actors on the stage, for example, singers and all these people. But the point is, it's not really them. Not people do love them because they are human beings. They love them because they perform. So we have a difficulty in just to be yourself. You always have to perform, or you always have to create some trouble. Yeah. Of course, our society is supporting this kind of style. So we are not really, we do not really recognize it early. Yeah? So I know people, they are extremely successful. They are extremely good business people, but they do not know who they are really. A rigid personality is like an empty kind of cup, an empty kind of bottle. In the outside, there's a lot of action, a lot of performance, a lot of energy, but inside is emptiness. So I gave you a few tips or a few ideas about this character process. This is how we develop and how we often create also our trouble, because we learned and we think this is the one and only aspect we can survive. And we identify ourselves with this quality. Of course, all these characters are much more complex and there are much more information. This would be part of a webinar to go into deeply more, also with yourself if you like, but also if you just want to listen, it's also okay. Yeah. So our ego structure is mostly described by such kind of character processes, survival mechanism. Yeah? So do you have any question at the moment? I talked a lot. I would like to integrate you to hear. Is it something what you know already? Maybe one of these character processes, one of these qualities? Let me know a bit.
Well,
yeah, or in coaching, yeah.
Well, to me, all of this sounds like different defense mechanism that the person developed over the years due to his upbringing mostly and whatever happened in life. And it all goes down to self-worth and self-esteem. Like all of those issues for me, they sound like that's the way, that's where I would go to try to go around it. So the question will be, well, knowing and being able to distinguish which particular type that is, how is it going to help me to actually work with it? Like what it goes down to?
Exactly. Thank you. Very good question. First of all, you have to get to know this pattern. Yeah. Often people are even not aware of it. Yeah. They have the feeling it just happened to me, like a victim. Yeah. Yeah. Few of these character processes are directly connected to victimization. Yeah. Being a victim. Masochist is very often victim. Orwell also very often victim. No, I cannot do anything. I'm not strong enough. Yeah? I do not have the money. I'm not talented enough. I cannot be responsible. So we have to discover, first of all, no, sorry. Can you start to take over responsibility for this? It means you have to be aware. Yeah. Yeah. In coaching, it's one of the first jobs. Yeah. When people come and you have to work with them, also to bring them closer to, okay, how can I take over responsibility for this, what I experience? What is your part in the whole story? Yeah? We are not responsible for everything, but we are responsible for something in the story. Yeah? For example, if Leo says, I have a bad luck at the moment, yeah, in coaching, for example, I would like to ask him, so how does it come? We have to find out a little bit. We cannot go in now, yeah, but what is the part of us who was creating this, who was also somehow, I would not say expecting or, yeah, but something was attracting something. So first of all, we have to be aware. Okay, it's a pattern. It's a repeating kind of quality in life, yeah. Can have different colors. Secondly, what is maybe the learning in this thing? For example, all person has to learn to stand on their own feet. Yeah, not always wait that someone comes and take them. Yeah. Okay, so what little steps, for example, can you as an old person can you take in your situation? Yeah. So first of all, be aware. There are some kind of patterns. Secondly, what is the learning in the whole thing? Third, also I'm often saying to spiritual person, have you done your homework? Homework means, did you work on these psychological issues? Yeah. Often they jump directly to solution oriented. It's very modern, yeah, to say, yeah, let's go into solution immediately. Even let's go in spiritual dimension, yeah, positive thinking and meditation and yoga and everything. But these deeper kind of problems are not solved. So what we have to do, we have to go into this process and find out, for example, where does it start? When does it start that you closed your heart? Who was convincing you that you are not able to stand on your own feet? What happened that you totally split? Yeah. So it's a kind of psychological work needed. I don't know if you are educated in psychological, let's say, therapy, but I was working last year's, I can say 50% with business people, yeah, in coaching sessions. And it was always possible to go into these topics step by step, very carefully, but step by step. Yeah? And they were extremely happy.
That's my concern basically, because responsibility is one of the most used words in my sessions. And, like I see quite a lot of people who do see that they try to avoid responsibility, they step back. It's the point where they stop doing what they want to do. And sometimes I feel that they need to see a psychotherapist, because I don't really want to go back to the childhood and all of that stuff, because I have no diploma in that.
Exactly. You cannot do regressive work. Regressive means psychologically going back in time, yeah. But you can still go there and say, okay, what is the point? What is the deeper issue, what you feel here? Where does it come from, this not being good enough? You don't have to go into this process, yeah, but you can still connect with this aspect. And from this, going further and ask, okay, what if you see that, yeah, what do you have to learn? What is your learning point? Yeah, not a regression means now we're going through this emotional pain, yeah, but also come in contact with this emotion, with this experience, and see what can be the learning point. Because there's always a learning point behind. Yeah, and this is where you can work with people also in business. So, for example, I made a video 2 weeks ago, spiritual wisdom in psychological pain. So if you have experienced, for example, abuse in your childhood or something like this, there's always something behind what would like to make you more aware of something, what would be also train and teach you to bring more qualities, different qualities in your life. And this is what you can use. Yeah. So if you go there, what is this? Where is the self-esteem blocked, for example? Where does it come from? Yeah, nobody was really supporting me, or I have to fight for my rights, or I don't know. Okay. Shortly go into this feeling, yeah, and then go further and say, okay, if you see that, what can you learn? What is the learning point out of this? If there is a meaning, yeah, what was the meaning in that? Because we all survived, and this is the transformation from this ego pain thing, suffering thing, into the spiritual dimension, asking, okay, if you accept this, maybe first time in your life, and see the learning point in it, what can it be? Yeah, this is possible in kind of also in coaching in business. Yeah. Does it answer your question?
Yeah, more or less. I'll have to think it over. Do I understand correctly that what you mean is that we can just acknowledge it and look at it and try to learn from it, and then like go back to the present point and like look from the present what we can take from it here, or how we can transform it? Because it seems like quite a difficult question for a client, like what can you learn from your pain?
Yeah, it needs a bit time. Yeah, I'm shortening it now, the process. Yeah, and the main thing is not to know what was the learning. The main thing is to feel it, and this is in coaching session quite difficult sometimes. Yeah, because there is no contact often. Yeah, so we do not feel anything anymore, and then we come as a coach and say, okay, how is that feeling for you? How was that feeling for you? So the feeling is the changing point. There the transformation takes place. Yeah? Yeah? But do not go into pain again. Just connect with this feeling. Sometimes they say, yeah, it was very sad, or I felt really not accepted. Okay, that's enough. And then, yeah, with this contact, slowly, step by step. Okay? Yeah, that's part of the training, Sabina. Especially in business, it's really a lot of things to do in this direction, really also to make experience with understanding. Leo, how is it for you? Where are you?
Sorry, my connection is not that great. I didn't understand you. Sorry.
Yeah, okay. I was asking if you have any question to what we are talking or what we were talking so far. Just to understand where are you.
I understood. I reflect a lot. I saw myself in many cases, especially in the past. I see that I have used my ego in benefit of myself sometimes. And I see myself again in a moment that I need to reset, I guess. I never had a problem thinking that I was not good enough. I always like to compete. I always liked to compete in sports, especially.
Yeah.
And I always have been, but was never about the winning. Was more about doing my best. Always about that. And in soccer, skateboarder, I play tennis. I do a lot of stuff. And was not about winning, but was about doing my best.
Okay.
And some time ago in my life, and I took that in my personal life, in my business life. I have worked for one company for over 20 years, and I asked it to leave because they were doing a lot of stuff under the table, and I was not liking that. And after that, I had my two daughters, and I guess in that point in my life, I recognized that was not more about doing my best only. I have to win some. I don't know why, but something changed in my mind. And after that change in my mind was not the same. I mean, the game was not the same anymore, at least for me. And that's what I think is the beginning of my cycle of bad luck, I guess. I was not doing my best anymore just for doing my best because I was trying to win now.
Okay.
Understand?
So, look at the moment you said there was one moment something changed. Yeah. What can it be? What was it? Let's take a few seconds if you like, if you allow, yeah, to look at it. What was it? Something changed, and what was it?
So I asked to leave my company. I had worked for over 20 years, and I lost that security. At the same time, I had two daughters, and I got married, and I left. I used to be in Africa Then I left Africa, went to Brazil. A lot of stuff changed. So in my mind, I was not more thinking about doing my best. I was starting to think like, now I have a lot of responsibility. I have a wife that I took her to Brazil. I have 2 daughters. Now I have to win some. Now I don't only to do my best. Doing my best was not good enough anymore. You know?
So Sabina, for example, yeah?
Maybe it was.
Yeah. So the pattern, what can be the pattern? What do you see maybe as a pattern? Doing enough was not good enough anymore. Yeah? Doing my best was not good enough. First of all, how was the feeling in this moment?
I don't know. Maybe I start to be afraid of losing. I mean, the opposite feeling was the motivation to start to, all the money I have made, all the things that I have conquered in life. Being afraid of losing that maybe was the reason I start to think that I had to win some now.
So look, the question is now for all of us, all of you, all of me, also for all of us, who is afraid of losing what? Yeah, if we talk about ego and self, who is afraid? Which part in you was afraid? Yeah?
Probably my ego.
Exactly, and then we should go into this process. What is this? Because you survive, yeah, you're still alive, you still can participate, you still make your experiences, you live every day, yeah. So something is still working very well, yeah. Some part in us was losing or was afraid to lose, yeah. Here the process starts, yeah. If you go deeper, you do not do it now, because I would also like to would respect your protection and your intimacy. We would find out maybe there's more clearly, there is something what unlocked maybe already, yeah. And what is this exactly? So the learning from the self, from the spiritual quality, is to see what is the wisdom in this experience. The ego says it's horrible, it's painful, I have to push, I have to work hard, and so on. Yeah. The spiritual question is, for what is it meaningful? What is really the message of, okay, what do I have to lose? What do I have maybe to let go? Yeah. Maybe it's an idea, maybe it's a description, maybe it's behavior, yeah. Maybe it's a position, maybe it's a definition of myself. Something in your life was somehow asking you, okay, I have to let go of something. What is that? So here the transformation from ego, from what is suffering, understandable, yeah, to the deeper, to the higher self can maybe take place. Yeah? To find out what is maybe the meaning behind that kind of experience at the moment. So when we come to our third aspect, if you allow that we just go further a bit, then we can connect it to what you said. So life events, for example, are typically messages, yeah, where we have to stop or to go or to do or to wait or to give in, yeah. For example, in my life, I had 2 kids, and one of my children was totally handicapped, 100% handicapped. Yeah. It came already to this into this life with a total handicap. So we had to take care from morning to night, even during the night for this child. That was the question from the ego side was always, okay, why me? Why me? Why do I have to suffer? Why do I have no two children? And so on. My trainer at that time always told me, go home and do your homework. So what was the learning, for example, in this live event, what I call live event? For me, it was the hard work. Later on, I saw the big present that my daughter gave me. Yeah? I have to surrender. I have to give in. I was confronted with my ego trouble, with my trouble from morning to night. Why me? Why not others? Why do I have this? How can I overcome? How to change? Until I started to surrender, until I started to give in, to let go. And in this moment, it takes years. The heart, for example, was opening. So if you go for the question, what is a GPS of our life? That's one aspect, life events. Specifically life events where your life might turn around, yeah, might show you something totally different, and we might not like them or accept them at the first moment, yeah. But here are the most learning points, most turning points. Yeah? So first of all, life events gives you an orientation. Here's something really easy to change. We know it from people, they become cancer or they become sick or they lose jobs. Yeah? These life events are really influencing a lot to change something in your life. Some other qualities of GPS, how you can find orientation. Yeah? Not only from the mind cannot give you orientation so much because you have many ideas. Often the mind is producing, it's the monkey mind is producing from morning to night ideas about what should you do, how should you be, where should you go, how should you decide, and so on. So if you go a little bit deeper beyond this mind, you have your heart and you have your belly and have your emotional quality, and even you have your body as a kind of antenna. Yeah? A GPS, you know what a GPS is doing in the car. Mostly we have a starting point and we have an end point. And if you look to the street, it's mostly not linear. It's mostly in curves and you have to stop and you have to turn around, yeah, and you have maybe some construction. You have to leave to turn to the left, to the right. Yeah. So a GPS always keeps you on track. What we often think from our mind, from our ego side, it has to be linear. I think this is what I want to achieve. This is how I would like to achieve. But life shows me something different. You know it maybe. It's nothing new to you. But how can you find orientation in this so-called chaos? So it's also to be connected more to your, what we call inner voice, yeah? Inner resonance. When we more start to listen to life, to listen to people, to listen to moments, we get a lot of messages, live messages. Often people say, I do not get any live message, sorry. Yeah, what are you talking about? Yeah? But it's clear. Why? We do not listen. We often have no space to really listen to these messages. Yeah? A message may become, maybe we will see, and our inner voice, our body is reacting, yeah, is resonating, but we do not listen. So how can your system, let's call it system, yeah, body, mind, heart, emotional system, how can this be a resonance body, like an instrument? Yeah? And we know from many methods. One method is this method with the arms where you just check, is there resonance in the food or in the kind of medical treatment, yeah? So we know we resonate positively or negatively to something what is positive or negative to me, correct or not, yeah? For example, losing energy, yeah? Being disturbed, yeah? Feeling not well, it's all on the feeling level, yeah? Or maybe bodily level, yeah? So we have a resonance, we have a resonance body. We can use this resonance body as a GPS. If I have a question, if I do not know what to do, okay, stop doing too many things at the same time. Of course, often we go hysterically, we do a lot, yeah, we do much more than we should do. Stop doing this and listen. We have to become silent and more quiet and use this system as a resonance system. If you're trained if you're not so much in your mind anymore, and not so much driven by all kind of ideas and concepts and goals, yeah, you are more open for this moment. Yeah, it's a soft view. What after a while develop, you feel it more. Okay, this is what I have to do now. Sometimes it's not linear. So the GPS is a training also that there is a deeper meaning. Things are connected. Yeah. For example, people, they have some close to death experience. Yeah. I also could experience this in a therapeutical session, by the way. I saw this red thread, yeah, what people describe, what is somehow running through your life, connecting main points, like knots on a thread. Yeah, our life is connected, even though it looks like chaotic and dynamic and complex. But there's a deeper kind of meaning, always bringing us back to something. I know people, they found their partner in life in Peru on the highest mountains. Nobody was there except two guys, a lady and a man, and they met there, yeah, for example. So we have to be open for this kind of life messages. We have to get into this resonance quality. What is resonating? How is it resonating? And one thing is to learn here, there is a dissonance, resonance, and a, let's say, resonance quality. For example, if we are too much in our character processes, we will attract people, they are resonant to us, but on a disease level. What does it mean? Disease level means they are not healthy for us. They are healthy for us to learn something, but they are not healthy for us for developing really a healthy and a happy life. Very simple example, someone who is alcoholic, yeah, will attract maybe someone who is alcoholic. Yeah. So they fit exactly on a resonant level, but they are not really, maybe they cannot really help each other. So this is what I say, Sabina, when you go into these character processes more, people will also understand more what do they attract and how to change it. This is also this part of responsibility. So GPS means look where is resonance, what kind of life events do you know or do you experience at the moment maybe, who gives you a push into another direction. How is your body, how is your system resonating on different, let's say, information on different impulses. Yeah? And it can be very concrete. Look, if you go into a shop and you decide to buy some food, you can even resonate in these moments. Is the food really resonating? Is it really healthy for me? Does it feel well if I take it? Yeah. If I go somewhere, do I feel in resonance with the situation? Let's say party, or let's say a workplace. Yeah. Is there resonance? If there is a lot of dissonance, then you have two options. First of all, you can take it as a training. Say, okay, let me train it. Let me train that situation. Or you can go in this direction and say, okay, sorry, this is not in resonance with myself. The GPS of the soul is a training about all these kind of things. Like a radio, yeah? You know the radio, you have to find the right frequency on the radio, yeah? That the sound is clear. And if the sound, this kind of frequency is clear, the sound comes through, the information comes through. Yeah? Information, it's a movement through the form, through your body, for example. Yeah?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Regarding what you just said. How to find the difference between something that is really, let's say, not resonating, like when you want to make a decision to do something, and how to understand that it's a really like not your path, like not resonating. There is something inside you that's really stopping you, even if you don't know what that is. While for most people it can be just a simple I don't feel like it, meaning I'm just too I'm just following my inertia, and I don't want to make enough effort to step out and do it, because yeah, it's much easier to say, oh, I don't feel like it.
Yeah. It's good to, first of all, also to check where did they feel resonant? Yeah. What was the resonance point? Because somehow they decided for something. Yeah. Yeah. So where was the resonance? Yeah, I thought this lady would be the right one for me. Yeah. What was your thought? Yeah, she had blue eyes and long blonde hair. Okay, so this is your your orientation in life. Yeah. Or I thought, here I can really make money. Yeah? Okay, so somehow I always say perfectly wrong. Yeah, you get what you attract. Yeah, but you're mostly not happy. So we have to check where was the resonating, so-called resonating point. Maybe it was only in the mind, in the expectations, what I want. Yeah, but not what I felt. What was the feeling in this moment? Yeah, I had no good feeling. So why are you going there? Or the other point is, I feel nothing. I had no feeling. I just thought it's right. So what can be the learning here? And maybe not to jump in immediately in something. Take your time and to feel it more. Yeah? So the body gives you, not the body itself, but your system gives you a resonance on a deeper level. And often we do not like this resonance. Maybe there is a resonance like, I'm not sure. Should I marry or should I not marry? Can we stay with this question? Yeah? Should I sign this contract or not? Buying a house, let's say. We all know these moments, yeah? Sometimes it's an inner voice, sometimes it's just a feeling, yeah? Sometimes it's a kind of resonance in the system or from the friends or family side, yeah? And you're right, you have to be careful which resonant point you follow. Is it yours, or is it a mix on expectations, for example? This is why this reflection and this inner work is so important, what I call homework. Yeah? If I know my patterns, yeah? If I know my system, if I know where I have my, let's say, black holes, I know also where I'm trapped. Do you have some specific situation in mind?
Well, yeah, I have many in mind. Well, what I wanted to say is that a lot of the times we feel that something resonates, then the fear comes in, but in fact, you don't know if it's really going to be good for you or not until you try it, because we want those things which we never had. And you think that, yeah, does it consist of my expectations, of my impression of how it's going to be, or is it really something within me that says, yeah, I want to go there? And you don't know until you try it.
Exactly, but the fear is coming, yeah?
Well, yeah, the fear, you can do something about the fear, but still, sometimes fear is telling you, hey, don't go there. It's not safe, yeah? Exactly. And you have to decide whether you want to risk or not, because not safe doesn't mean you shouldn't go there.
Exactly. So you have to find out what kind of fear is it. Is it a pattern fear, means it always comes when something new is coming, yeah? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Or is it a fear what tells you maybe, oh, it's okay, but go slowly, yeah? Mm-hmm. Yeah? Yeah. Or is it a fear saying, sorry, that's too much for me at the moment? Or maybe it's totally wrong. So you see already, you have to do, or we have to do this homework to find really out on a deeper level what is resonating. Can be it's an old fear, yeah? Yeah? Can be it's a psychological, more neurotic fear, yeah? Yeah. Look, when I was working in my life, I was working also as speaker. Yeah. The first moments on the stage was horrible for me. Yeah. I would run away immediately. But something also in myself said, no, okay, take this job, learn, find out what is running away here. Who is that? Yeah. And I remembered many times in my life, but also in this time, I was very hurt. Some moments I have to play an instrument in front of the family, and I was nervous, and my father was somehow criticizing me and even beating me. So all these things came out. Yeah? But actually, honestly, I like to be in the field. We have to find out what kind of field is it. Yeah? Resonance doesn't mean it's always so-called easygoing positive thing. It can also mean there is something to learn. Yeah? Yeah. You have often maybe experienced also someone who becomes pregnant, yeah, a young couple, very good resonating to this kind of situation. They love each other and they like that they like to have a child and to found a family. And this baby who comes to this earth, to this planet, is crying from morning to night. So they are not really happy with the situation. But what is the learning in it? Yeah? Where is the deeper resonance? And here we touch again the difference between psychological resonance and spiritual resonance. Psychologically, it can be totally horrible to do this step and to have this experience. Spiritually, it can be one of the main steps in your life where you have to learn something very fundamental. Yeah? And yes, there is no recipe. Do it like this, and then you are 100% successful. By the way, success means following the flow. Yeah? Successus is following, and succedere means following, and successus is the flow. So, okay, even success is following the flow. It's interesting, by the way, for business people. Yeah? They always want to have success, and I'm always asking, what do you mean by that? So where is the resonance? Okay. So last but not least, we have the last topic. It's spiritual mandate. It's why we are here, and it's of course connected to this GPS quality. The GPS is somehow leading to that part. So if you are more and more, let's say, free of your energy, your released energy, you get rid of your patterns, you have more and more possibility to really be creative and really have a happy and healthy life. Still the question is why you are here. What is the point of being on this planet? What is your inner calling? If you do not have this, all psychological work is somehow okay, nice, but not really satisfying from an inner point of view. The spiritual mandate is connected to this question: for what are you? What is the point of being here? If you have not this idea, not this experience, this deeper connectedness to inner calling, nothing makes really sense. The meaning, the inner connectivity is not really there. So allowing to experience your spiritual mandate gives you also a lot of passion and intensity in your life. Do you have any idea about your spiritual mandate, why you are here? What would you say if I would ask you, what do you have to do on this planet? Leo, do you have any idea? Any feeling? You have to switch on the microphone. Yeah.
Sorry, can you ask me again?
The question is, I was talking about the spiritual mandate, the quality of, or the question of why are you here? And okay. I said often it's quite difficult to feel, to see that, and to follow this. My question was, do you have a feeling? Why are you here?
I really don't know. I never ever thought about that. now I really think I'm here to educate the daughters. I mean, to give them all I can, all the respect, all the education I can give them.
So it could be one of these qualities, one of these answers to say, yes, I'm here for the children. Yeah? I'm here for this souls, to give them a good, healthy space on earth. Yeah? Is it something that's what you see beyond the education, or it's modern education, the love for your children?
I see myself. I'm taking myself again to the business level, but for me, business and personal was always integrated. So there is not much difference between my personal life and my business life. But I always saw myself as a good leader, and in the way that I always try to be surrounded by the best people I could have, and always, especially if they are technically better than myself. For me, the greatest feeling I have in my business life when I can form somebody to replace me, that I can be, I can have the freedom to go to vacation and know that someone is in my place and can do the same as I do. That I can, I have always worked before my job, my company, for a big corporation. So I could always be free to have other opportunities as well. Was something eccentric in some way, but in other way was very, very, how can I say that? Comforting for me to know that I'm doing good to somebody else that was working hard and was doing for me as well. So I see when you think why you are here, maybe I'm here to help some other people in some other ways as well.
Exactly.
Not to educate my daughters. I don't know.
But you see the difference.
Too much complex.
But it's a difference in your face. You see the difference? How's the feeling now when you say that?
I'm feeling a little bit lighter now.
Yeah. Of course, the thing is not solved. Not be naive. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
We coaches know that we easily jump into a kind of solution. Yeah. But look what happened. Yes. Okay, I'm here to help someone. I'm here to form people in a particular way. Yeah? I'm a kind of leader. Wow. And interesting, if you go there, go deeper into this process, what is it exactly? How to help? What to do? What is it? Where are my talents? Who was supporting me in my life already? Yeah, gives you more and more the feeling of this mandate. And I can tell you many problems in life might be not so difficult anymore. They might not be solved totally, but they might not be so attractive, not so depressive or confronting anymore. Yeah, so it can be quite a good step to go deeper and find really out what is this, let's say, this calling. Yeah? For you, Sabina, what is your?
I've got few thoughts on this.
Okay.
On a different level, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first of all, I'm here for now, at least. I'm here to wake up my own potential and to connect fully to it and to feel my own power and connection to the world and people. Mm-hmm. Secondly, it will be, of course, helping other people to find their own power, to realize their own potential and learn how to follow it. And like on a general level, like probably like raise awareness in some issues, not just about your life, but like let's say there are certain aspects in life that that I'm concerned about more than about everything else. Like for example, I'm very concerned about how people treat animals, cats, dogs, animals in the city, and sometimes like really frustrated about total lack of awareness of what's going on and total lack of responsibility whatsoever. So that's one of my like inner goals. So I hope that one day I'll be able to take it to the next level and probably arrange something like bigger than I'm doing now.
So that's wonderful. Thank you very much. So we actually, when we look at our planet, we do not have so much time anymore. It looks like, yeah, there can be big changes coming, yeah, but at the moment it looks like that we do not have so much time to waste our time anymore. Yeah.
Exactly. The change will come when the time will run out.
Exactly. So be aware, we are here on this planet also. To do not waste our lifetime, yeah, and whatever it means, yeah, to do it to the fullest, with passion, with intensity. There's, by the way, energy, a lot of energy, yeah, when we do something.
Yeah.
With passion, yeah.
To find your energy is a good, is a good phrase as well, because sometimes we do things which do not give us energy, only take it, and it's really hard to find something that allow you to open the flow, but to integrate it in your life, so it's not just something like you secretly like doing, but it's actually something you do most of the time.
Yeah. My experience is also when you're more and more ready with this so-called homework a little bit, yeah, working with yourself, what you said, working with your potential, yeah, how to express, how to bring it, yeah, how to develop it, yeah. Then the point comes more and more, yeah, for what? Now you're ready, but for what? Yeah, so, and this is so fulfilling to give it to the world, to give it to your partner, to give it to your society, to give it to your city, to the animals, yeah. And what happened in this moment? What is the main thing in this moment? Let's say you would work with these animals. What would happen with you? What do you think?
Well, I think I'll be just able to do much more than I do now. And like, let's say if I had enough resources and like time and everything else, I would just take it to the next level, even within the area that I live in, because there are a lot of animals here, and most people are quite careless. So just be
caring. Yeah, caring. Yeah.
Well, I know for sure that a lot of those people, they do want to help. They just don't know about it. They don't know that they can. They don't know how. They just don't think about it. That's the main issue. People do not think about many things. And if you point it out, if you just shift their focus a little bit and lighten the way for them, they'll be happy to participate, and that will make them happier as well.
So the ego goes always up and down. Yeah, it's like a roller coaster. Yeah, yeah. You always have this emotional. But if you have a more inner kind of connection to why you are really here, and that's a spiritual quality. Yeah, you can call it spiritual or essential. It doesn't matter. Automatically, this will maybe not end totally, but you are not so attracted, not so attached anymore. Yeah? Let's say you would work with these animals, you would really take care for these animals. They would give you so much love back. Yeah? Mostly, yeah? They will open the heart or help us to open the heart. Yeah? So what I have found out in my life also, when we go in this with this, let's say, mandate, yeah, it's also a heartfelt experience. It helps us so much to stay in love, to stay in this, what we all are looking for, searching for. So we have on this planet, what from my side of view, a really crisis of the heart. So if we go in this direction, we also have a heart opener or the option, the possibility to live more from the heart and always from our let's say, thoughts, minds, expectation, critique, judgmental things, and so on. So finally, why we are also doing this work is we have a heartfulness training, what is quite new. It's 2-3 years old now. Yeah? We really train people to become closer to this heart quality. And it's not naivety. It's not, oh, now being nice and lovely and everything is fine and dancing in the circle. Yeah? It's really developing this kind of quality with protection, yeah, with surrender, with this experience of courage, developing courage. Yeah? Courage comes from the heart. Cœur, la cœur, yeah. In the Western tradition, it's mainly connected to the heart. In the Eastern tradition, it's mainly connected to the belly, yeah, to the hara, what they call hara, yeah. So this kind of centers, this is what we do in our trainings, for example, to help people to develop this and to become this kind of leader, what Leo says, yeah, to form, to give it further to people and to help them also to, what you said, to develop their potential. So this is our work, our offer, our mandate, my personal mandate also, yeah, to go in this direction. Anna, where are you? Are you still with us? Do you want to say
yes,
something?
I'm here. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, do not ask me about mandate because I actually thinking about mission for many years in different ways, studying different schools, but it's still difficult because, as you said, for example, that it's you should look for experience that heartfelt, yeah? And I have many experiences like this in absolutely different areas. So I'm a little bit lost then. I feel that okay, many things are touching and many things are like feeling good, or some people saying, okay, what would you do if, for example, all problems are solved? Yeah, you still will be doing something. And again, I cannot answer this question because I want to do many things. So then do not ask me what is your mandate, because mandate for me feels like something one that you're supposed to do, helping people, yeah, but it's kind of very wide. I do not know, I feel a little bit lost in that.
Yeah. So, and this is already the starting point. Sabina, for example, or Leo, who is lost? Look at her face. It might be, not to confront you, it might be a trick. Yeah. It might be a trick, it's a question mark. I'm not saying it's a trick, but it might be a trick to not come in contact with what you have really to do.
Yes, this is also a good point. Yes, yes, because many things are touching. When Sabina was talking about like feeling this to animals, yeah, that some animals may be treated not very well and so on. I cannot see these things. I cannot see how people treated by other people, or many things. So I just close everything. I shut. I do not want to see TV. I do not want to see bad people or something, news and so on. So I shut myself. Then how can you open up to find your mandate then? Yeah, if you shuttered all possible shutters, windows, doors, no, I cannot. My heart cannot take it. Sorry. Yeah. And then you ask me, what is your mission in life? Oops, I'm sitting in this little house. Do not touch me. Yeah.
Yeah. So the circle is closed now. We come back to this ego and self thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have to ask again, what part in us was closing? What part in us was closing the doors? Yeah. Was withdrawing? Yeah. Needs that kind of protection. And this is the first thing we have to work with. If we do not look at this part will be not healed automatically. Yeah. This is where we now come back to the beginning, actually. Yeah? It's a, you know all this, it's a kind of spiral. Yeah, you always come back to the same point, but maybe with a new consciousness. So now we have to ask, okay, who is withdrawing and why? And maybe it was needed sometime, yeah, in your life, maybe in the past life experience, to withdraw, to close the windows, to close the doors, to say no to the world, yeah. And now, where is the resonance point to look at the world again? Yeah. What was so difficult, yeah, in us, in you, maybe in your life, in your experience, that you said no? And if we accept that, we have a next step. Yeah. Psychological work means let's go into this no. Yeah. Let's inquire. Let's find out what are the deeper reasons. And it's an excellent work. But it's also possible to say, okay, let's keep it as it is at the moment, and see what can be maybe a next step out of this closed house, out of these moments of withdrawing. Do you see something? What would help you to come out a bit, to show yourself again to the world a bit more? What is that? What is
Well, actually, what closed or what pushed me to close, this is what will push me to open. So the pain of the world, let's say, yeah. So if I see somebody is in pain, I cannot not to react and shut everything, yeah. So yeah, it's quite interesting. I just realized it at that moment. So it's inside. Thank you.
So the pain and the resonance on the pain can be the open door. Yeah. But still, we have to learn to protect that it doesn't happen again. Yeah. And this is the psychological work.
Yeah, this is the fear.
Yeah. And the spiritual work says, okay, let's take it as a chance. Let's take it as a moment of opening, of giving in again. Yeah? If I give in to my pain, I also might give in to others. Yeah? So there's a resonance point. Look, most people who are really good coaches and therapists, they have a horrible childhood, yeah? And they have a horrible, maybe even they were really badly grown up. So they learned a lot, yeah? If you listen to Tony Robbins, to his stories when he was a little boy, yeah, it's horrible, yeah? But he became so strong exactly because of that. Because he overcame and he was working on it. All right. I think it's much longer than we expected. I would like to say thank you, and let's keep in touch. We have some next steps. If you would like to participate, to go deeper, or to ask, you can also write email or question to me. So let's have a good contact and support each other on this level. And there are trainings, webinars, coachings, and we will maybe also have some free webinars if you like. You are always welcome also to participate again. Yeah. And if you are a professional like Sabina, and you have maybe ideas or need to train more this in specific, yeah, that's you are always invited. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do you have I don't know, some pages or like where to look the information about you and your course and everything? Like where is it follow?
First of all, this online thing is a bit new to us, yeah. But I can send you a few contacts where you can go, for example, for the heartfulness training or for communication and training and that. So I have different aspects I can send to you, yeah. Do we have your email address?
I don't think. Well, I have an email, of course.
Yeah, but
I don't have yours.
Do you have? But we are connected on Messenger, right?
I don't think so.
Okay. if you would like to give me your email address, I can send you something. Yeah. Let me have a paper here. And
maybe in chat. In chat, we can write email addresses.
Okay. Here.
Maybe you can write also your website or Facebook page name.
Yeah,
Sabina did already, yeah? So slowly, Sabina. Leo Franco, I have yours, okay? Okay, Sabina Point is correct, S?
Yeah, .s.kh.
KH, and then it's Gmail, right? Okay. Okay. Leo, I have your email address, right? It's the same you were sent. I have your email address. It's the same you sent to me, right? Okay, great. And Anna, I also have your email address. Okay. I will get back to you, Sabina, yeah, and send you something, and let's have a look and let's have a talk, because what I offer, I would like to go in transformational coaching. This is exactly a little bit what you were talking about, how to do this, yeah, what to do, how can you bring people also on an emotional level, for example, in business, yeah, into these processes without losing the contract, the company, and so on, yeah. Okay.
Joaquin, let me ask you a question. We're going to be doing some more webinars like this one, because during this time we spent together, I remember at least of two friends of mine that would love to participate in something like that, and that I would like to recommend to them.
Okay.
If you
we would like to offer regularly, let's say, this kind of Friday open webinars, yeah. Okay. If you have someone, just give them my email address and they should send me a message, and I will invite them, yeah. So okay. Also on Facebook, yeah, but the email is the most direct contact. So I will invite them for a free webinar, and then they can come in contact, and then they can see, does it make sense? Is it somehow interesting for them, and so on, yeah. Okay.
Okay, great.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Enjoy evening and weekend. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye. Thank you.